First and foremost, I would like to thank the organizers of the ICTEL 2022 for inviting me to be one of your speakers. I am very much humbled and glad to be part of this prestigious event. Moving on with my topic, flexible learning is a critical strategy for increasing access to higher education, especially due to the aftermath of the pandemic, particularly as worldwide enrollments are expected to double by 2025, according to Mathlit. It involves choice in how, what, when, and where individuals, particularly learners, learn the pace, place, and mode of delivery, according to Higher Education Academy in 2015. It is for this reason that I would like to share the topic Teaching and Learning Frameworks in Technology Enhanced Flexible Learning. It is my fervent hope that after this lesson or this topic, you will be able to describe the different flexible integration models that may be applied online in hybrid and limited face-to-face learning environments, particularly in your respective institutions, and explore the major frameworks that guide teachers for digital age teaching and learning, specifically in the areas of domain expertise needed for the 21st century teaching and learning, establishing and facilitating meaningful online experiences among the community of learners, designing learning experiences that target higher order thinking skills, levels of technology adoption that guide technology rich learning experiences, and developing learning opportunities that meet the needs of diverse learners. Now, in distance education, teachers and students are in different places for all or most of the time that they teach, train, and learn. This is the reason why remote learning occurs when the learner and instructor or source of information are separated by distance and cannot meet in a traditional classroom setting, which happened during the pandemic. As you can see on the screen, there's a separation of teachers and students because of distance education brought by the pandemic. And of course, this led many institutions to different institutional accreditation for official recognition of studies, etc. And the use of mixed media, which include different resources like print or textbook, radio, audio, television, computer-based for offline, and different online resources. Furthermore, aside from distance education, we also have open education, which provides distance education with emphasis on flexibility and student-centeredness, and flexible education, which gives learners choice in the medium, the path, the place of study, and the methods of assessment for their entry or exit points. Now, I would like to first start discussing or sharing the contextual modalities for flexible, safe, and inclusive quality education. In the Philippines, in order to adjust and adapt to the shift in education brought by the pandemic, flexibility in education in the Philippines was birthed. Distance learning is a way of educating students online. Lectures and learning materials are sent over the internet where students work from home and not in the classroom. There are many excellent benefits of distance learning, and the three common modalities used in this learning in the Philippines include the modular distance learning, the online distance learning, and TV radio based instruction. Now, aside from flexible learning, or aside from distance learning, there are two other learning modalities used during the onset of pandemic in our country. We have the blended learning and homeschooling. Blended learning, also known as hybrid learning, is a method of teaching that integrates technology and digital media with traditional instructor-led classroom activities, giving students more flexibility to customize their learning experiences. Homeschooling, on the other hand, is a type of a home-based learning environment managed by qualified guardians, parents, or tutors that have undergone training. In one of the biggest news agency in the Philippines, it was broadcasted that SHED, or the Commission on Higher Education, wants universities, colleges to train teachers on the conduct of flexible learning. According to the Commission on Higher Education Chairman Prospero de Vera III, flexible learning should not be limited to online classes or activities. Among the other activities that he suggested are take-home exercises and educational packets. Now, there are different modalities in the conduct of flexible learning. Of course, we have the asynchronous classes or the offline classes and the online classes or the synchronous classes, which brought the blended learning or which constitutes the blended learning. Now, let me now share the different modalities in the implementation of flexible teaching and learning. The first component that I would like to focus on is technology. Now, for offline, of course, we make use of the printed modules, audio tapes, videotapes, CDs, storage devices, learning packets. We also make use of television or radio broadcasting networks. The Department of Education in the Philippines, which is assigned or which is responsible for the basic education in our country, organized a broadcast of lessons where teachers create a show which is presented on television and radio. And of course, we had a different learning management system, whether portable or cloud. For the blended learning, of course, we make use of desktop computer, laptops, smartphones, and mobile applications. If virtual or collaborative learning is to be implemented, we make use of the learning management systems. Of course, we still make use of the different offline instructions or materials. Then for online, we almost similarly use the same, the desktop computer, laptop, smartphones, mobile applications, learning packets, and the different learning management system. In our institution, in our university, the learning management system that we use is Microsoft Teams. Now, according to the presentation of Dr. Juan Robertino Macalde from Simeo Inotech, during the Simeo Inotech Flexible Learning Management Systems, which was conducted on a joint webinar by CHED and Simeo on May 22, 2020, he presented different categories of technology. We have the high level, the medium level, and the low level technology. Now, for the high level, mostly the available devices includes laptops, mobile phones, tablets, and desktops, which means that all these gadgets are available, if you're in the high level technology. Whereas if you're in the low level technology, some students make use of some mobile phones that are of low specs, and some has no technology at all. For the internet connectivity, of course, we can expect high speed for high level technology, whereas for poor or no internet connection for the low level technology. For the level of digital literacy, it's proficient for high-level technology, and for the low-level technology, it's beginner level. For the approaches, for high-level technology, we make use of the online learning or blended learning technology. For the medium-level technology, we make use of the macro and the micro learning approach, a mix of online and offline activities. And for the low-level technology, we make use of self-instructional modules, mostly offline activities like modular activities. All right. Now, for the second component, the content learning materials or the learning objects or the learning objectives, for offline, we still make use of printed or electronic modules, the video, audio, podcast, webcast, OERs in storage devices. We also make use of printed or electronic modules, video, audio, podcasts, and webcasts of OERs for blended learning. And for online, of course, we make use almost all of it, including mainly the use of internet-based technology, modules, and the like. Another component is for evaluation and assessment, both formative and assessment or summative assessment. For offline, we proctored non-conventional assessment. We also conduct performance-based assessment like portfolio making, research papers, video recordings, student reports, and laboratory reports. For project-based or task-based assessment, we make use of different rubrics to cater to this different assessment types. For blended learning, We have performance-based assessments, which includes e-portfolio or portfolio, research papers, automated exams with pooled bank questions, video recorded student reports, and laboratory reports. Again, we still make use of the different rubrics for the project-based or task-based assessment and the use of adaptive testing. Whereas for online, we make use of the different performance-based assessment, which are conducted mostly online, and of course, still the use of different rubrics. Now, on the next slide, you will see the generations of distance education. We have 5 generations of distance education. For the first generation, this is just a single medium print or correspondence. And for the second generation, of course, now we make use of radio and television broadcastings where teachers teach the lessons through this broadcast, whether in radio or television. For combined correspondence assisted by broadcasting, that is for the third generation. And for the fourth and fifth generation, we make use of online delivery and telelearning or interactive audio and video conferencing. Next, I would like to focus now on the e-learning. The learning system based on formalized teaching, but with the help of electronic resources, of course, known as e-learning. While teaching can be based in or out of the classroom, the use of computers and the internet forms the major components of e-learning. Now, under e-learning comes 2 types. We have the blended learning, also known as the hybrid learning, is a method of teaching that integrates technology and digital media with traditional instructor-led experiences. Whereas for web-based or online instruction, it includes, of course, the online course content. Discussion forums via email, video conferencing, and live lectures or video streaming are all possible through the web. And web-based courses may also provide static pages, such as printed course materials. Now, e-learning involves learning experiences conducted utilizing via electronic media, as I have mentioned earlier. And as you can see on the screen, I will now be focusing on the e-learning spectrum. We will answer the question, what does e-learning look like? Okay. Now, from face-to-face, we have shifted to online learning during the pre-pandemic. Now, as you can see, during the face-to-face, there is minimal or minimum online learning, or there's a minimum use of online learning. And as we shift to hybrid or blended learning to fully online learning because of the pandemic, there is an increase in the percentage of the use of online materials. Now, a flipped classroom is structured around the idea that lecture or direct instruction is not the best use of class time. Instead, students encounter information before class, freeing class time for activities that involve higher order thinking skills. So despite the shift in the learning modality, we still need to make sure that students learn efficiently and effectively. And of course, this is through the maximization or maximization of their higher order thinking skills. Now, brick and mortar education refers to education that occurs at a physical school as opposed to virtual or cyber school environment. And before the pandemic came, we make use of the brick and mortar method. This includes the traditional instruction and some technology-rich instruction. But as we shifted to online learning, we make use of informal online learning to full-time online learning. Now, online learning is defined as learning experiences in synchronous or asynchronous environments using devices, whether mobile phones or laptops, with internet access in this environment. Students can be anywhere, and they can be independent, of course, to learn and interact with instructions and other students. Then, because of the shift in education, we came up with a blended learning to cater the needs of our students, because we have diverse students and they have diverse needs. Of course, we came up with the rotation model, the flex model, the self-blended model, and enriched virtual model. Now, as you can see in the post-pandemic, this is a course models at a glance. Now, from the brick and mortar to virtual learning environment, we now moved to hybrid, high flex, and even fully online learning. So this will continue to progress depending on the situations of the pandemic or of the COVID-19 cases in our places. But as of the moment in our country and our institution, we make use of fully online, high flex, and hybrid learning in order to teach our students and assess our learners. Now, for the high flex learning, if you're familiar with high flex learning, high flex combines the terms hybrid and flexible. Therefore, hybrid learning refers to learning that integrates complementary face-to-face, which is the synchronous, and online, which is asynchronous experiences in service of intended learning objectives. All right, so this time I would like to focus on the teaching and learning frameworks in technology-enhanced flexible learning. The first framework that I would like to focus on is the TPAC model, which is the domain expertise needed for 21st century teaching and learning. Again, now TPAC is a technology integration framework that identifies 3 types of knowledge instructors need to combine for a successful EdTech integration. We have technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge. And out of these, there are 7 components. Now, before I move on to the 7 components, for the technological knowledge, this answers the question how technology is used. For the pedagogical knowledge, this is how teachers teach. And for the content knowledge, this focuses on what teachers know. As I was mentioning earlier, for the TPAC model, there are 7 components which are addressed. We have technology knowledge, content knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, pedagogical content knowledge, technological content knowledge, technological pedagogical knowledge, and technological pedagogical content knowledge. Now, to sum up, you can see on this cloud of pictures that for technology, of course, is to make use of whatever apps and gadgets we have in order to teach our students and for our learners to learn as well. For pedagogy, we have the different approaches, strategies, teaching methods, and techniques that we can use during and at the post-pandemic. And for the content, this includes the teacher's ability or what the teachers know, which is primarily essential in teaching and in ensuring that our students learn the best way. Now, for the next model that I would like to share, it would be the SRM model, which depicts the levels of technology adoption that guide technology-rich learning experience. Now, the SRM model basically helps a teacher answer the following questions. What am I teaching? If you're a teacher, you should ask yourself, what am I teaching? How will I teach it? Who am I teaching? And how will I know if the students understand? Now, the SRM model is essentially a planning tool that helps to design better learning activities for students. The framework provides pedagogical insight into how technology can and should be used in the classroom. According to Ruben Puentedura, the difference between augmentation and modification is whether you're essentially reproducing what you were doing before in your practice and you're significantly modified. Now, as you can see in the SRM model, S stands for substitution. Substitution is where technology acts as a direct tool or substitute with no functional change. For augmentation, this is where technology acts as a direct tool substitute with functional improvement. And for substitution and augmentation, this plays the role of enhancing learning and teaching. Now, for modification, technology allows for significant task redesign. Remember, as I've mentioned earlier, the SIMR model is a planning tool that helps to design better learning activities for students. So, for modification, technology allows for significant task redesign. After careful assessment in the substitution and augmentation level, and if you can see that there's a need for improvement or redesigning, there's a need for modification. And for the last stage redefinition, technology allows for the creation of new tasks, previously inconceivable. Redefinition and modification falls under the transformational stage, wherein the learners are expected to embrace transformative learning experiences. Now, if we could recall Bloom's taxonomy, the KKASE, we can recall that the last remaining stages in Bloom's taxonomy, creating, evaluating, and analyzing, this falls in the redefinition and modification state at the SAMR model. Again, this levels, the redefinition and modification levels, will allow students to not just significantly redesign and create and evaluate, but they will also be given an opportunity to analyze certain tasks and even create new as to the need arises. Now, here are some questions to ask for learning design of a classroom task. For the substitution, what will I gain by replacing tasks with a new technology? So let us always ask this question before incorporating an application or whatever simulation activities online we find. What will I gain by replacing the task with new technology? For augmentation, does the tech add new features that improves the task? For modification, does the task significantly change with the use of technology? And for redefinition, does technology allow for creation of new tasks previously unconceivable? All right, so here are some of the applications that are found on Apple and different softwares or different gadgets that you can use and incorporate in the learning of our students. So I hope you can just familiarize yourself with these different apps and try it in your own classrooms. Okay, lastly, I would like to share with you the community of inquiry, establishing and facilitating meaningful online experiences among community of learners. The presence in online instruction is an approach whereby learning is socially shared. This is a path to a meaningful, systematic, and worthwhile educational experience, according to Garrison, Anderson, and Archer. Whereas Garrison and Volman mentioned in 2008 that the presence in online instruction is an approach that creates a meaningful, systematic, and worthwhile education experience. All right, so through the design of your online course, facilitation of this course, and direct instruction, we are able to establish our teaching presence. Now, as you can see on the next slide, here are some of the teaching presence components. For instructional design and organization, we need to set the curriculum, design methods, establish time parameters, utilize the medium effectively, and establish etiquette. For direct instruction, we have to present content and questions, focusing the discussion, summarizing the discussion, confirming understanding, diagnosing misperceptions, injecting knowledge from diverse resources, and responding to technical concerns. For facilitating this course, we need to identify areas of agreement and disagreement. Remember, as facilitators, we don't act as sage on the stage, but we help learners think critically and creatively in our classrooms. Now, we need to seek to reach consensus and understandings in different areas, in our topics and in our subjects. And we need to encourage, acknowledge, and reinforce the student contribution, as well as set the climate for learning. We need to draw in participants, prompting discussions and interaction, and assessing the efficacy of the process. Now, the social presence model identifies 5 key factors that help maximize online learning experiences and engagement. We have the affective association, community cohesion, interaction intensity, knowledge and experience, and instructor investment. Each plays a key role in creating a social presence among students. For effective association, according to Garrett, this is how students and teachers show emotions online. For community cohesion, this is seeing the class as a community. So we need to work as one, we need to communicate, we need to collaborate. For interaction intensity, this shows what ways and how often students interact. We need to create a healthy, fruitful environment where students can freely interact and share their knowledge, their opinions, and even their own experiences. For knowledge and experience, this is a way students share their prior knowledge and experience with course content. And instructor investment is how the teacher shows involvement in students' learning. Now, in order to enhance the instructional presence, particularly at the time of pandemic, we can make use of different videos to enhance each area. Now, as you can see in the cognitive presence, we create meaning through communication. You can have discussion videos, assignment videos, or direct instruction videos. For teaching presence, we can have direct instruction videos. We can pre-record our videos and share it to them. And we can also ask our students to create feedback videos. Whereas for the social presence, we can have announcement videos, reminder videos, or supplementary info videos. I remember when I was teaching science, technology, and society during this semester, we created a short film festival for our students to not just depict and show what they have learned in the different topics and areas in science, technology, and society as a subject, but we are able to link the topic to the different community problems and create a short film, which enables the learners to fully evaluate their learning, analyze the situations in their community, apply what they have learned in the topic or the subject, and at the same time create a community awareness for this particular topic. So I hope you can also make use of these videos or different strategies in order for you to forge your instructional presence. So thank you very much for listening and for joining me in the discussion of the teaching and learning frameworks in technology enhanced flexible learning. Thank you once again, ICTEL, and more power to each and every one of you. Thank you very much.